everybody, again, this is the second segment on the paragraph on the pyramids of Egypt. And Daniela is with us today as our guest, and we're going to be reading through these passages. And as we've done before, I'll read the sentences first, and then if you can, and then Daniela will repeat after me, and you read with her in order to get a sound of the sentence and really sort of feel involved in the translation. And then we'll take apart the grammar of the sentence one by one, step by step, and then you'll be able to see how the sentence is constructed and get an idea of how to translate it. So the idea is that this little 7 to 10 minute clip, audio and video clip, will help you improve your German or review what you've magnificently learned before. You see a little sketch here to the right of how they brought these huge blocks of stone up to the pyramid site and the ramps that they constructed, and it's just an amazing thing. Okay, so let's start reading aloud, and we'll just go up here. Let's see, can you read? Let me just pick up the little, can you see the mark here, Daniela?
Yes.
Good, so we'll start right here, and then we'll just go down to the bottom of this paragraph, a short paragraph, and then we'll read this this little side comment here regarding the building of a pyramid. Okay, here we go. Warum haben die Menschen so viele abenteuerliche Erklärungen gefunden? Everybody?
Warum haben die Menschen so viele abenteuerliche Erklärungen gefunden?
Where's the verb complex?
Haben gefunden.
Good, right there. So, and you can see my marks as I'm doing this. I hope everybody else can
Yes.
see it, though everyone who's listening. So this is a perfect tense, and verbs verbs that are transitive verbs that can take a direct object are conjugated with the helping verb haben, as opposed to verbs of motion, which are conjugated with sein, to be, just like French. Okay, so this means have found, that, and you always say as a plural, they have found. So you're indicating that you're looking for a plural subject, and the subject is obviously
Dimension.
good. And every time I ask her a question, please think of yourself of what the answer would be. And what about direct object?
The Erklärungen.
Yeah, right here. And when I ask for the direct object, we don't include normally the adjectives that modify it, which was like that adventurous explanation. It's kind of a funny adjective here in this context. Okay, you want to translate? And everybody translate with her? Go ahead.
Why have the people found so many adventurous explanations?
Good. I.e., for why the pyramids were built, obviously. Next sentence. Was wissen wir wirklich, everybody?
Was wissen wir wirklich?
So here's your verb wissen. So what do we know actually? Then next one, let's go reading together. Zunächst können wir anhand der Lage der Pyramiden feststellen, everybody?
Zunächst können wir anhand der Lage der Pyramiden feststellen,
dass sie wie die meisten Tempel auf die Grenze zwischen fruchtbarem Land und Wüste gebaut wurden.
dass sie wie die meisten Tempel auf die Grenze zwischen fruchtbarem Land und Wüste gebaut wurden.
So, what does this das introduce always, Daniela?
Subordinate clause.
This is always a subordinating conjunction introducing a subordinate clause. So this is subordinate to the main clause. And where's the verb of the main clause?
Können feststellen.
Good. This is können is a modal verb, which is always combined with an infinitive or a past tense or any tense of a verb. So here's your verb complex, so-called. And notice the feststellen, the infinitive, floats out to the end of the clause, either to a comma as the end of the clause, or out to a period at the end of the sentence, if that is the case. So we are able to determine, and then what's the direct object?
Sorry.
There's actually no direct object in the main clause. We are able to determine that, then it goes on. Let's see, in the next, this phrase beginning with that, where's the verb?
Gebaut werden.
Yeah, gebaut wurden. So in subordinate clauses, the telltale or the sign that it is a subordinate clause is that the verb comes at the end. And also the helping verb and the past participle are also reversed at the end, that they were built. And as most of the temples, they were built auf die Grenze. This is at the border, and this is a directional accusative, at the border, and then between takes a dative, between fruchtbarem, and this is zwischen takes the dative case. That's why it's em here at the end. If you had a definite article after zwischen, if you had zwischen dem, dem, then this ending would be n. This is a very dry grammar and of little interest, but you should pay attention to it. Okay, having all that understood, you want to translate? Everybody?
Sure.
With Danielle? Go ahead.
So, first of all, we are able to determine, based on the position of the pyramids, that they, like most temples, were built on the border between fertile land and desert.
Great, fantastic. Just erase this. Okay, the last sentence here in the text. Für die Ägypter bedeutete diese Grenzlinie den Übergang vom Leben zum Tod.
Für die Ägypter bedeutete diese Grenzlinie den Übergang vom Leben zum Tode.
Yeah, you actually pronounce that last word better than I did because you pronounce every word. This is actually called a stylistic E. I mean, you won't find that term in grammars, but I use that. It doesn't have to be there because the word is just tod, T-O-D, life and death. But E is added oftentimes in the dative case, especially just to give an interesting lilt and a smoother rhythm of speaking. So den Übergang vom Leben zum Tode is how you would pronounce it properly. Okay, where's the main verb?
Bedeutete?
Good. Yeah. Is it what tense is it?
It's past.
What is it? A weak verb or a strong verb?
Weak verb.
Good. With the te added, tacked onto it, without a vowel change. Strong verbs have a vowel change, and weak verbs don't. Signified this borderline. Okay, so for the Egyptian, so you have it like a double accusative here. For the Egyptians, this actually you would go here because this is the subject. For the Egyptians, this borderline signified, and then you go on from here. This is your direct object. Okay, you want to translate?
Sure. For the Egyptians, this borderline signified the transition from life to death.
Good. And let's read this little thing here to the left before we go on. Die Forscher sind sich heute noch nicht einig darüber. Everybody?
Die Forscher sind sich heute noch nicht einig darüber,
wie die Ägypter die Steine zum Bau der Pyramiden transportierten.
Wie die Ägypter die Steine zum Bau der Pyramiden transportierten.
This is the researchers are not einig, are not in agreement, is what this means, about that. This is one of those dar compounds, and sometimes you can translate it, sometimes you can leave it untranslated, but it basically anticipates what's going to occur in the next clause. It makes you sit up on your seat and wonder what's going to happen. So literally, the researchers are still today not in agreement about that. About what? How the Egyptians transported, and what's the direct object of that clause?
Die Steine.
Die Steine to the building of the pyramids. This is a genitive plural. Okay, let's read the next one. Die Zeichnung zeigt eine Möglichkeit.
Die Zeichnung zeigt eine Möglichkeit.
How nice. We are supposed to look over at the drawing here. Die Rampen bestanden aus Ziegeln und Schutt, Schlamm und Wasser, dienten als Schmiermittel. You ready?
Die Rampen bestanden aus Ziegeln und Schutt, Schlamm und Wasser, dienten als Schmiermittel.
To smear. You know, Our word to smear actually comes from this word. So smear is lubricating, means of lubricating. So I'm sure the English word smear comes from that. In fact, uh, 35% of the words that we use in English come from the German side, and about 60% of the words that we use in English come from the Latin-based side, Latin via French, etc. Okay, this is the drawing. You want to translate those sentences?
Sure. The drawing shows a possibility. The ramps consisted of bricks, debris, and mud, and water served as lubricating means.
Great. Okay. And then Fertigstellen is the completion of the Pyramide, and then würden abgebaut. Uh, they would be um, again dismantled. So want to translate that last sentence?
Sure. After the completion of the pyramids, the ramps were again dismantled.
Great job. Okay, thanks for joining us, and see you next time. Thanks. Bye bye.